Ladies and gentlemen, a man who needs no introduction in the Italian-American community, a man who has dedicated his whole life to the Italian-American cause and everything it means to be Italian in the city of New York and the state of New York. And over the last decade, the man who has been the voice of the great Columbus Day Parade run by the Columbus Citizens Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Piscopo.
Remember to get any wide shots or anything?
Sure. Just say we're Italian, we kiss. Hold on.
Like standing with this guy right now.
And there's no lawsuits involved in this kiss.
You know, I'm so proud to be here. Arthur Idala, thank you for putting this all together. We're going to introduce some distinguished folks. And most of all, you know, to you and the press and everything, you know, generally we feel we're not really cared for as Italian Americans. So let us all express and let's show our appreciation to the press for showing up here today, if I may, guys. We appreciate it very much. And thank you so much. I want to acknowledge some folks that are here. Tony Carbonetti, before I forget, Tony Carb is a great asset, a great businessman in the Italian-American community. Sid, you know what, from WABC, we're on the same time, we are brothers, we're all in the same family. And thank you for taking the time here. Any other event that you need on the Jewish side, you call me and I am there, buddy, all right? Sid Rosenberg right there. I'm a proud Italian-American. My family came from Avellino outside of Naples, and they came here at the turn of the 19th and 20th century. And my father and my mother were from Newark, New Jersey, but my grandparents came here, learned the language, learned the laws, and they wanted to become one thing. They wanted to become Americans. So we have given so much to this great country as Italian Americans. My father fought in the Second World War. He entrenched in me the love of the United States of America. He said, Joey, he goes, this is the greatest country in the world. And we have given so much. We have given so much to this country as Italian Americans that we deserve at least to have a day for this great heritage that to me is the foundation of the United States of America. Please, don't get me started. Don't get me started, please. We appreciate it. I want to acknowledge also some great Italian-American organizations here. Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America. The Sons and Daughters of Italy. Italian Sons and Daughters of America. Italian-American One Voice Coalition. The Common for Social Justice. The Commission for Social Justice. Columbus Citizens Foundation is right here with Angela. We're going to hear from Angela in a second. Columbus Heritage Coalition. Unico National. Conference of Presidents of Major Italian-American Organizations from the great people who serve this city, who are in every single day, the hardcore blue-collar workers that make this city run, the Columbia Association, how about the Sanitation Department of New York? I marched, where would he go? I marched with the Sanitation Department of New York early on. Angelo, you remember in the Columbus Day Parade. I'm a former garbage man. We appreciate what the Sanitation Department does. How about the Fire Department of New York? A shout out to Commissioner Nigro. And also we have the NYPD Department of Corrections, the Colombian Lawyers Association, but there is a group that we stand behind unapologetically, that it keeps us safe, that is truly the backbone of New York City, the New York Police Department, the NYPD. We love you. We love law enforcement. We make no apologies for that. You know, as we do the Columbus Day Parade every year with my dear friend Maria Bartiromo, and we're on ABC 7, and we broadcast to millions. It's like millions of homes around, and we tell everybody how great the Italians are, you know. And the man that puts that all together, and who's a dear friend, and is really blazing the path, that with due respect to Arthur and myself and all of us, this is the man that blazes the path to keep Columbus Day alive and to fought to keep this Columbus statue up. Angelo Vivolo, President, Columbus Heritage Coalition.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Joe, for once again standing up for our community, as you always have, a strong supporter of the Italian American community. It can be no better. We stand united today at Columbus Circle in the shadow of the Columbus statue, where it's inscribed, "To the world he gave a world," and a magnificent message of hope and freedom. Last week, Mayor de Blasio and Chancellor Ross Porter of the Department of Education approved the removal of Columbus Day from the New York City public schools. At this time when we strive for unity and respect for the civil rights of all, Mayor de Blasio and his education department violated the civil rights of tens of thousands of Italian American students in New York City. What false and hurtful message is he sending? By canceling the celebration of one culture and substituting another, the mayor's appointees have pitted group against group rather than uniting our gorgeous mosaic. They seek to destroy respect, understanding, and unity. Their efforts will fail. They will fail because today we stand in unity. Unity against hate. United for the truth that our children deserve. Yes, our united voices will be heard. We will not accept this injustice. Today, it is Italian Americans. Who will it be next? God bless you for being here. God bless Christopher Columbus, and thank you once again.
Angelo Vivolo. And you know, this young man to my right is such an asset to the City Council of New York City. I would be remiss if I didn't look to my dear friend who Arthur hosted the show Monday when I was in South Dakota. One Italian in South Dakota, right? That was it. That was it.
What'd you eat, Joe? What'd you eat?
I went to the Pasta Ranch or something like that, you know? And then, so thank you, Arthur, for that. Joe Borelli doing a great job for the city of New York. Thank you so much.
Bad job on the radio show, though, I guess.
You were great. You were great. And Bo Deedle in the house. So here's the president of the Conference of Presidents of Major Italian American Organizations. Would you please welcome Basil Russo?
Pump up the value. Let's take a quick look at the historical events that have made Christopher Columbus a symbolic and spiritual hero to the Italian American community. It all began with the largest mass lynching in American history when a mob of 5,000 people shot and hung 11 Italian immigrants in New Orleans in 1891. The New York Times actually wrote an editorial applauding the lynchings, and to this day, they have not retracted or apologized for that editorial. You will not find a word written about the New Orleans lynchings or the many other lynchings of Italian immigrants that occurred in this country in any American history book. After President Harrison declared a national holiday the following year to honor Columbus, the Italian immigrants began holding parades and constructing statues, including the statue behind us, in an effort to establish a sense of dignity and self-worth for themselves during the wave of anti-Italian bias and hostility that raged through our country. Anti-Italian prejudice and bigotry publicly manifested itself in this country time and time again. The Sacco Vanzetti executions in 1926 set off worldwide protests. The enemy alien designation during World War II showed the tragic hypocrisy of over 1 million Italian-American GIs fighting to protect our country, while 600,000 of their parents were treated like criminals in this country and required to carry enemy alien cards. And as a result, many of them were forced to vacate their homes, many of them lost jobs, they were subjected to curfew, and some of them wound up in internment camps. Another display of the prejudice that exists in this country toward Italian Americans for generations has been the fact that the most prevalent stereotype in America today is the association of Italian Americans with organized crime. And all we have to do, if we want to see whether prejudice against our community still exists, just look at the Saturday Night Live show that aired this past weekend. The disgusting and bigoted Mario Brothers skit that appeared on that show that mocked and ridiculed Italian Americans and Governor Cuomo. It only serves to prove that we are the only group remaining in this country that the rest of society feels comfortable insulting, ridiculing, and stereotyping. Where is the political correctness when it comes to Italian Americans? We're entitled to the same degree of respect that every other group is afforded in this country, and we've begun using the courts in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and other cities to claim that respect for our community. Italian Americans are also fighting to ensure that the truth is told and taught about Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus did not introduce slavery to America. He did not commit genocide. He did not abuse Native Americans. Every bit of primary source material describes Columbus as a good Christian who treated Native Americans with dignity and respect. There are numerous books and articles that have been written in recent years that debunk all of the lies and false narratives that have been taught about Columbus. It's time for our teachers to start reading some of those books.
Nice.
In closing, I stand here as a representative of 50 of the largest and most influential Italian American organizations in our country. And I can emphatically state that we are totally united in our support of Columbus Day as a federal, state, and local holiday, and in our demand that Mayor de Blasio reinstate Columbus Day. Mayor de Blasio, we will not allow you to erase our history or our heritage. Thank you.
Basil, thank you. Well said. Now I'd like to introduce to you, if I may, the National President Commission for Social Justice, Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, Robert Farrito, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, I got to tell you something. Mayor de Blasio is always talking about diversity, inclusion, but not when it comes to the Italian American community, and not when it doesn't fit his agenda. So you know what, Mayor de Blasio, we have a message for you today from the Italian American community. This event is a call to action. We want you to stop violating the Italian American civil rights, stop dividing people by pitting one group against another, and you know what? What do we all demand? We demand that the Italian Americans be treated equally in the city of New York. Equally! Equally! Now, you know what? I may be the national president for the Commission of Social Justice, but I'm born and bred in New York City from the Bronx.
Nice.
The Bronx. And I'm a New Yorker no matter what. And I live in New York. So we're going to ask all elected officials to join us in defending the Italian civil rights. Mayor de Blasio, one last message. Restore Columbus Day, because you will not have seen the last of the Italian American community. Thank you.
Robert Farrito. You know, I just wanted to come by and thanks. Everybody listens every morning and know how proud we are as Italian Americans. You know, the ethnicity, the mosaic of America is the foundation of America. And somehow the Italians, you know, got shortchanged in that regard. And as we stand here today, with great respect, by the way, for taking the time for coming in here, especially to the media, we really appreciate that. Is that I think of my, you know, my grandparents getting on the, you know, a freighter in the Gulf of Naples. And they were in steerage. There was no air conditioning, and they went to Ellis Island. And if the folks at Ellis Island didn't understand who they were, they would change their name. It was degrading. It was tough. They never complained. The Italian-American spirit came into this country, and we made this country great, and the least we could get is a holiday in the greatest city in America, New York City. Keep Columbus Day alive.
Thank you.
And this guy's a brilliant attorney. Joey made me say all this, you know that, right? He's my dear friend, and I know his mother listens every Sunday, you know, with the Sundays with Sinatra. But Arthur's a great guy. He put all this together. But again, Arthur, thank you for. I see our friends at ABC 7 watch for the Columbus Day Parade this year. The Columbus Day Parade this year. My friends at Fox News and Channel 5, we appreciate you all coming down. Please welcome back to the podium my dear friend, one of the brightest attorneys in the world, and a great Italian American, Arthur Idala.
Thank you, Joe. I just want some of the Colombian lawyers to come up over here, and so you could show Mr. Laspina, Judge Pesci, Dominic Napolitano, Marianne Bertuna. Very quickly, my name is Arthur Idala, and I'm a lawyer in New York City.
We love you, Arthur.
I am, well, now you sound like my mother. I'm very fortunate because I grew up in a household where Italian-American pride, and in particularly Sicilian-American pride, was highlighted. And if you think I'm fibbing, when we moved into our little small house in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, and I walked into my brand new room, my father had decided to paint it 1/3 green, 1/3 white, and 1/3 room with a huge map of Sicily on the wall. And that is the God's honest truth. I'm speaking here today with the thoughts and the prayers and the blessings of all of the great lawyers that have Italian heritage. From Cicero to Charles Rapallo, who sat on the first Court of Appeals here in New York State, to Geraldine Ferrara, to Justice Scalia, Justice Alito, Mario Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, and today's presiding judge on the highest court in New York State, Janet Di Fiore. Great Italian-American lawyers and jurists. They have laid the foundation and the groundwork, not only for all of us, but for the legal system, the civil legal system and the criminal justice legal system. And if you want an example of this country and how wonderful it is, standing before us is Judge Mike Pesci, an immigrant from Bari, Italy, who came over here as a young boy, and he rose. His final position was the chief judge of the appellate term of Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. That's why America is so great. And what I'm going to tell all of you and promise all of you today, I know Bill de Blasio. I know him well. And I do know he is proud of his Italian heritage. And I am so disappointed in his position about Christopher Columbus. Because last night in researching Christopher Columbus, you heard what my colleague said, but I didn't even realize he literally turned this world upside down for the better. There were no potatoes in Italy, and there were, or tomatoes, I meant to say tomatoes in Italy. He brought the tomatoes here. And there were no cattle in the New World. And he created this planet that we live in. Columbus started. Was he a flawed man? We're all flawed. So stop it. Every holiday we celebrate, there's a flawed person in there, maybe even Jesus Christ. So enough. Enough with people being flawed at that time. There was a time when my mother gave birth to me that the doctor was smoking a cigarette as she was giving birth. That was normal. There were women used to drink alcohol. That was normal. We used to litter freely. That was normal. And things that he did 550 years ago were normal to them. So enough. Christopher Columbus is here. He's here to stay. And on behalf of the lawyers, we are going to do everything that the legal system has to offer to make sure Columbus is not forgotten, the Italian-American experience isn't forgotten, the Italian-American contributions to this country are not forgotten, And ladies and gentlemen, one final thought. Just remember, America, it's a beautiful Italian name. Thank you, Sid Rosenberg, for coming.
Thank you, thank you. You know, there are so many organizations here today, but we have to hear from some of the important organizations that are part of this, helped put this event together. I want to bring up, no stranger to New York, and I know a number of you know him, the New York State Chairman for the Commission for Social Justice, John Farrito. John, come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have had enough. We've been fighting this issue all over the country, and it's time we make everyone know we're not quiet. You have awakened a sleeping giant in America. We will not tolerate this. We are tired with the antics of City Hall, and if anybody honestly believes that the mayor and the chancellor knew nothing about this, I have a bridge you could buy. That's not true. That's not true. But now that they do know about it, they could do the right thing. Reverse the decision. Put Columbus Day back on the school calendar. That's what it's all about. We have a right to our day, just like everyone else. We're not opposed to Indigenous Peoples Day. Although when you think about it, they have 2 days already. They have August 9th and the day after Thanksgiving. And they have the month of November. But if they want a 4th day, a 5th day, give it to them. We don't care. They cannot have it on Columbus Day. And that's the bottom line. We're going to stick together and we're going to fight this with everything we got. Thank you.
We just have 2 more speakers. I want to bring up, the next person I want to bring up is from the Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, the New York State President, the oldest and largest organization in the United States of America, the Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, Anthony Nacarano. Anthony, say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to try to put a personal face on what we're fighting here today. My name is Anthony Nacarano, and I'm the State President of the Grand Lodge in New York. Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, a national fraternal and philanthropic organization. My family immigrated to New York, and we arrived October 3rd, 1955, when I was 9 years old. As memorable as our sea voyage was at 9 years old, the most significant and exciting event occurred when we made a stop in the port of Genoa. My father took me to visit the house of Christopher Columbus, where he lived. Here I was in the home of the man who discovered the land that soon would become our home for my family. The tour was fascinating, walking around in the home of a heroic explorer who will live forever in the hearts of all Italian Americans. Imagine a 9-year-old boy, the importance of what Christopher Columbus was to him. His daring, his sheer perseverance that contributed to the advancement of the knowledge of the entire world. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the celebrated scientist, recently said that Columbus' discovery of America was the most significant thing that ever happened to our species. Furthermore, he stated that Columbus discovering America was a great achievement that joined 2 human species, from Europe and from the Americas. After all these years, I've had the distinct pleasure of visiting his home, and having studied a variety of historical documents, I remain extremely devoted to Columbus because he was a magnificent explorer, a God-fearing person. He truly deserved the singular honor of the Admiral of the Ocean Seas for his character, indomitable spirit, and intrepid courage. We will not allow his legacy and accomplishments to be diminished by misguided and misinformed politicians who completely fail to understand that the Italian Americans, Columbus Day is not just a holiday, it is a sacred heritage. The shameful decision will not stand. Insieme, oggi, domani, and per sempre. Together, today, tomorrow, and forever. This will not stand. It is racism, and we cannot call it anything together, anything but that. Insieme, oggi, domani, e per sempre. Thank you.
I have one more speak, but I have to tell you something. I'm proud to be an Italian American, and I'm an Italian American, and today is one of the most, I have to tell you, the most proudest days of my life, because the Italian American community is standing together, something that hasn't happened in a long, long time in this city and in this country. So I would like to bring up next Frank Lorenzo. He's the Vice President of the Italian American One Voice Coalition. Frank, give us some ideas here.
Hi everyone, my name is Frank Lorenzo from the Italian American One Voice Coalition, and I'm so happy and proud to stand with my Italian American brothers and sisters in demanding that Columbus Day be reinstated to the New York City school calendar. But this is most important. This is what it comes down to. We're either free or we're not. We have equality or we don't. We either have civil rights or they don't apply to us anymore. There's no such thing as being a little equal. So that's why we're standing here today, and we're telling the city and the rest of this country that our civil rights are worth fighting for. They're worth fighting for. So if you didn't know it was renamed or it was diluted, you have the power to reinstate Columbus Day, please do so on behalf of the Italian American community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Hey, I see News 12. Jersey, thanks for coming out to New York City. We appreciate it.
There's News 12 in New York, too.
It's
not all about Jersey. Just Sinatra was born there.
And you know what? We're going to get out of here and let everybody go. We appreciate it. But I got to tell you, it's not just, I said I was a garbage man. I said it facetiously, but I was down in Long Beach Island in Jersey. But they're sanitation engineer, excuse me. But there are doctors here, there are lawyers here, there are architects here, there are entertainers here, the most professional. This is all the good of the Italian American community. And the stereotypical portrayal sometimes on television doesn't really tell that story. So we appreciate you coming here today with great respect and letting us get the word out. Angela Vivolo, one last word. Did you want to thank anybody else that you might have left out? Angela really blazed the path. Let's give Angela the last word, please.
I think that's okay. Go ahead. Okay. In addition to, we have a great list of supporters, political supporters. God bless them for standing up and having their voice heard in support of Columbus Day. We want to thank especially Governor Cuomo, who right up front was for us and supported us in the great Italian America. God bless him.
Also, Councilman Dominic Recchio Jr., we want to acknowledge Councilman Sal Albanese, Councilman Joseph Borelli, right here with me, Senator, that's it, we love it, baby, Senator Diane Savino, Congressman Tom Suozzi, and candidates, Curtis, is Curtis here? Where's Curtis? Curtis, good to see you, my friend. Curtis Sliwa, he's half Italian. Fernando Mateo, and Leticia Romero, who I just saw. Leticia, great to have you here. And let's hear from Joe Gorell, if we can, doing such a great job on the councilman in New York City.
Joey, Joey. It's great to be here. We will be here, Joe. Great to be here at Columbus Circle. Fun fact, I'm wearing the Italian American Civil Rights League pin that my grandfather wore in this very spot over 50 years ago, when his generation was standing against anti-Italian American discrimination. The problem with today's anti-Italian American discrimination is that it's coming from the left. And this Columbus statue idealizes everything the left purports to stand for. This statue is a symbol of the triumph of the immigrant experience. After 11 Italians were lynched in New Orleans, President Harrison made Columbus Day a holiday. The people of this city, the Italian people of this city, they scraped their pennies together to pay for this and other statues. I got news for you. Other communities did the same thing. If you walk 16 feet down the street, you'll see Jose Marti, a Cuban founding father. You'll see Simon Bolivar down the street. You'll see Juan Pablo Duarte in this city. You'll see Li Jeju. You'll see Theodore Herzl. You'll see Joan of Arc. All these communities who had an impact by coming from where they were born to where we now live have made a mark on this city in the form of putting up statues. So damn anyone who wants to take away ours without taking down theirs first.
Yeah.
And the truth is, We don't want theirs to come down either. Their statues are beautiful. Their statues make our neighborhoods vibrant. This statue makes our neighborhood vibrant. Columbus is also a diverse honoree. Yes, he's the national hero of Italy, but there's over 96 statues of him in every country almost in Latin America, Central America, and the Caribbean. How many countries have avenues dedicated to Christopher Columbus? All over those continents. I hate to even tell you what the country of Colombia is named after, by the way. He's one of the most worldwide, world-renowned heroes. He's a symbol of our joint humanity. If that's not what the left is trying to advocate for, then I don't get what they've been saying that whole time. And if this guy behind me doesn't symbolize our joint triumphs of humanity, then I don't know who is perfect enough to have a statue in the city of New York. Thank you and God bless.
Mille grazie. Thank you. We love you, and thanks for coming. And please, keep Columbus Day. Keep Columbus Day. Keep Columbus Day. God bless. Thank you.